It's time now for the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. Free home estimates and evaluations in under 30 seconds. You can always call Andrey at 888-785-0440. Andrey with a Y. AndreyBustamante.com. This is Ask the Experts. All weekend long, we bring in the top people in their field and talk to them about market conditions, what's going on, new strategies, and buying and selling homes right now is back in vogue. 855-297-9696, 855-297-9696. If you have a question for Andrey Bustamante, he's in studio today. You could text him a question at 21232, 21232. And here he is, Andrey Bustamante.
Good morning, Rob. Tim, I'm happy to be here yet another day live to answer any of your real estate-related questions, whether it be buying, selling, luxury homes, investing, marketing, you name it, we have answers to it. Short sale questions, loan modifications, foreclosures. We're here to help folks, and we're here with you for the next hour. Based here in Orlando, Florida. Any questions you have, we could pretty much answer them for you. And if we don't have the answer, we're not going to BS you. We're going to point you in the right direction. So happy to be here. Rob, how was your weekend, my friend?
Hey, the week has been great. You know, I've noticed as I drive around Central Florida, sometimes I come up 441, sometimes I come up the Turnpike from where I live, or I come down, actually, because I live north of here. And I've just started seeing a lot of land being cleared. Mm-hmm. Lots of land for new housing developments. The other day I shot off out of Sanford, and I came across 46 and noticed where the new beltway is being cut through.
Oh, man, it's
and
crazy.
Then just everywhere you look out in that area, Sorrento, Lake County, Orange County, Seminole County, where they all kind of come together right there, there's all kinds of housing developments going in.
And not just, it's not just the residential part of it. It's also the office market. It's the commercial market. In my plaza where I'm at, Rob, about when we moved in, so about 4 years ago when we moved in, about half the plaza was empty. Fast forward 4 years later, it's almost at 100% occupancy. You see the tenants actually investing into the properties, doing all sorts of improvements. It's awesome. I mean, the real estate market right now is doing well. It's important to have someone, a real estate expert on your side to help you navigate it. But certainly the market right now is exciting. Our weather is great. Can't complain. So it's just a great time. And kids are actually getting ready to go back to school here in a couple of weeks.
Oh, they are. And I tell you what, is this a good time? Because I know the summer is a time where everybody wants to get settled before school gets started.
Yep.
So the real estate market is just boiling. But isn't the fall a really good time to get the house listed, get it going? Because there's a lot of people who don't have kids that decide to move to Florida in the fall or to change their location in the fall before the holidays.
It's always a great time to sell. And, you're always going to find quality buyers. What you will find is during the summer months, if you put your home on the market, you're probably going to have more showings during the summer months. But ultimately, you only need one buyer. And I tell people, even in December, we have been successful selling homes in the middle of December because your most serious buyers are looking for properties during that time. All your lookers and the ones that are, maybe 6 months out, a year, 2 years out, they're all looking in the summer because their kids are out of school. We've all done this. We've all gone to the builders and just go sightseeing on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. But, it's always a good time to sell, and that is definitely one of the questions that people and mostly sellers ask during this time of the year. Andrey, can we still sell? Did we kind of lose out to the families that are looking to relocate and put their kids in better schools? No. You did miss a certain market, but there's so many other buyers out there that are looking. So you're okay. As long as you're with the right agent, as long as you have a right plan, you're good. I do want to announce today we're doing something a little differently, and I love the fact that we're getting a bunch of these questions here popping up on our screen, and we will get to you guys. But we're doing something a little different today. I wanted to put a spin on the show. So I'm having two of the top real estate agents from the hottest markets in America call into the show, and they're going to be giving us their perspective. So one is out of Tampa, and I hope all these guys can call in, and the other one is out of Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is a huge, huge market right now. And obviously Tampa. I mean, who wouldn't love to live in Tampa? Be right there by the water. You got the best beaches in the country. It's amazing. So we'll have these gentlemen call in, top agents in the country.
Texas is really taking off like a house of fire. I mean, it's going crazy right now. And so is Oklahoma, and so is North Dakota, oil. All the big oil stuff going on up there. So, Central Florida, yeah, one of the places that's hot, but tell you what. All right, here's a text for you. In contract with a buyer, the inspection period has passed, more than 7 days passed, but now they want to re-inspect 2 areas that they did not have access to during the initial inspection. Can they still have recourse based on the inspections?
I'm not an attorney, but based on what you're telling me, I would let them re-inspect it. I mean, the way I handle inspections at my office is a little differently. It's not like we're trying to hide something for 10 days and keep it in the closet, and then day 11, here you go. You didn't have an opportunity to see this, so here you go. The home has been sitting under a sinkhole all this time. So if it was me and I was a listing agent, go right ahead. I mean, I know per contract, a lot of times we'll write in like 3-day inspection periods, 5, 7, or 10. 10 is the norm. Sometimes if the closings are quicker, then we do them in a shorter period.
Okay.
But I still let people get in there and see them.
Andre also can help you as a buyer. He can be your buyer's agent. Doesn't cost you a cent, and he brings his expertise to the table. Here's one in line with that reasoning. 5469 writes, "We're purchasing a vacation rental home, but to me they all seem to be overpriced based on what similar homes sold for several months ago. Is it better to wait?"
Not necessarily. I think the market is either in this market, right, in the vacation home market, it's either stabilized or it's actually appreciating. So waiting is not necessarily going to help you. I think what you need to make sure that you're working with an agent that has your interest at heart. The vacation market is really interesting, Rob, because the commissions that these builders are paying, and there's nothing wrong with commissions. I mean, but these guys are paying $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 commissions on some of these houses. So a lot of times what you end up happening is you get agents that put the client's best interest to the side, and they realize that they're making 30, 40 grand on these commissions, and they're like, hey, let's go buy this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhouse for $350,000. It's a great investment. And the reality is it's not a great investment. So the first question I would ask is, why are you buying a vacation/rental home? And 2, what areas are you looking in? Do you have an agent? Because if you're going straight to the builder, of course, the builder is going to want to sell you their product. So make sure you have representation. I told a buyer of mine about 2 months ago, I said, I don't recommend this property. And they were paying really nice commission. But my gut instinct told me no. I couldn't sleep at night knowing that one of my buyers was going to buy in a community where 95% of the community was sitting vacant. I did not feel comfortable with that.
All right. If you would like to talk to Andrey Bustamante, if you need his services during the week, always a good conversation. 888-785-0440 is his office, and that also rings to him. That is 888-785-0440. Andrey with a Y, Bustamante.com. We'll come back with your phone calls and your text coming up. And don't forget that all-new open mic feature at News 96.5 app on your telephone. What a cool feature. We'll be back with Andrey coming up. Hey, welcome back. It's the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. Free home evaluation in under 30 seconds. You can contact Andrey by dialing 888-785-0440 or go to Andrey with a Y. That's AndreyBustamante.com. Hey, we're back 11:22, and as Andrey said earlier in the show, we're going to be sharing the expertise of some of the top people in the real estate industry during this show, and that brings us to Andrew. Andrew, welcome aboard on the show, man. What's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Andrew, I appreciate you calling in today, man, and I think it's an honor to have you here. And for those of you that don't know Andrew, he's the owner of Remax Dynamic, and he has one of the most successful teams in the country, based out of Tampa. He covers a big market down there, and ranked by the Wall Street Journal, endorsed by Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, Aaron Diaz. I mean, this guy's on fire. And I'm privileged to call him a friend. So, Andrew, I appreciate you calling in today, my friend.
Thanks, man. Glad to do it. I actually just went off the air myself, and I'm at the car wash waiting for my car to get washed. So I figured it'd be a good time to keep the conversation going about real estate, because I just spent the last hour talking about what's going on in Tampa.
I know. I was able to catch part of your show. So tell us how the market is down in Tampa.
It's interesting because it seemed like the market surge for us happened a little later. Usually we see April and May being, some of our biggest months. You have people getting out and shopping during the summer months. This year, it seemed to happen a little later, and our market right now is on fire. Our team has more pending sales and volume than we've ever had, and I think our market, we've seen a drastic amount of appreciation this summer. So that's kept our market humming. You've got a lot of people that are moving up. And then certainly we've got a lot of people relocating to the area as well.
The interesting thing about our markets is they're very, very similar, and we've talked about this for years. Now, are you guys seeing more of a seller's market like we are seeing here in Orlando?
Yeah, I mean, and it varies, just like anything. It varies from neighborhood to neighborhood. But yes, in general, more sellers markets than buyers markets across Tampa Bay.
What advice would you give to a home seller that perhaps has had their home on the market for several listings, 2 or 3 times with different agents, and they can't seem to get it right? What advice would you give to a home seller?
They probably need a fresh approach. Well, in Orlando, they need to call Andrey Bustamante, and in Tampa, they need to call the Duncan duo. But
appreciate the plug, and I completely agree with it. They should definitely call you if they're in Tampa.
Looking at using technology, drones, high-end videography, high-end photography, making sure the agent's paying for the exposure in some of those really important internet websites. And sometimes it's just a different set of eyes on the property. It's a different approach. And I think that's what you and I both offer to consumers, is that we're focused on doing things differently, not the same old-fashioned way that all realtors do them, but really thinking outside the box and coming up with creative solutions to get more traffic, to our listings. And so that would be one thing. And I would think, the other thing I would tell them is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. If they've been doing things with, realtors and doing them the same way, maybe they need a different approach. One
of the things I find, especially with home sellers, is that a lot of times they base their biggest hiring decision for their biggest asset, right, on commission alone. What would you tell these home sellers?
You get what you pay for. I mean, historically, our team has outpaced the market by upwards of 4% versus market averages. So somebody that's looking at us from a commission standpoint, the thing that I tell them is, what's more important to you, what I make or what you make? And if I can put more money in your pocket, why would you not hire me no matter what my fee is? So we obviously want to show the consumer, and our statistics support this, that we're going to put more money in their pocket no matter what our fee is. And I think that's what the top realtors do. They find ways to negotiate better. They find ways to get the property more exposure, and also a quicker sale, because a quicker sale means thousands more dollars in that home seller's pocket because they don't have the holding costs of the mortgage, the taxes, the insurance.
One of the things I always tell my home sellers is that, ultimately there are 4 determining factors whether a property is going to sell or not, and that's location, condition, marketing, and price. And, a lot of times, agents just focus on price. So they start at, let's say, $400,000, and if it's not selling, they drop it to $375,000, and then $350,000, and then $325,000. When in reality, maybe it was a condition problem, or it was a marketing problem because they were only paying, a minute commission amount to the other agent. So I always encourage my sellers to be open-minded about it and make sure they get a second look at it.
Then they're not getting the marketing exposure.
Correct. What advice would you give to home buyers?
Buy right now. Prices are rising. Interest rates are going to go up. Don't wait. And don't nickel and dime over $1,000 or $2,000 here in a negotiation. Consumers get too focused on paying attention to the price of the property versus paying attention to the overall cost of the purchase, which is terms. Whether or not it's rising prices or rising interest rates. If you have a deal today that you're thinking about canceling over $1,000 or $2,000 in repairs, which happens regularly, by the time you go out and find another home, and get it under contract. The interest rate and the prices are going to have gone up to where it's going to cost you more money to get out of that deal. So I would say be more open to looking at properties that need some work, put some sweat equity into them, but also be conscious that it's not just about price.
I couldn't agree with you further. Two more things. What are some hot pockets or some hot community subdivisions that you would highly recommend, living in Tampa for as long as you have? Where would you recommend if someone in Orlando is looking?
I love, the market seems to be always on fire in South Tampa. You got great schools. You've got, a lot of culture. And you've got a market that's historically outperformed the rest of the area. It's just a draw. In addition to that, I'd probably say Carrollwood and West Chase. Those are all three really good family neighborhoods with great schools, with home values that appreciate faster than the median, that have a lot of commercial development around them, and a lot of culture. I would say those would be the three most targeted neighborhoods, it seems like, that we get for families.
Awesome, man. Now, if someone wants to reach out to your team or visit you on the website, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Check us out at theduncanduo.com. It's TheDuncanduo.com. You can get a home value in Tampa Bay. You can search for homes. You can see testimonials from our clients. Pretty much anything you need to know about Tampa real estate, you can get on our website.
Excellent, my friend. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day with your family, and I appreciate you calling in today.
Thanks, Andre. Have a great rest of your show.
You got it, man.
All right. Wow. There's some really good advice in just about 5 minutes. That was an amazing roll.
Wow.
Man.
And it truly is an honor. I mean, this guy is ranked as one of the top, I think he's right now one of the top 100 agents in the country, according to the Wall Street Journal. He's top 10 in RE/MAX for the entire country. Wow. Number 1 in Florida for RE/MAX. I mean, the guy's it's nice to be able to call him a friend. He's a great guy. Talk about, his company name is RE/MAX Dynamic, but the guy's definitely dynamic and extremely innovative. So I learned a lot from him and a lot of other guys in our group. It's fun to be around these people.
And what that says to me further is not only the association of knowing people who are up, who are leaders in the industry that you bring to your clients as well, because you're one of the highest rated in the country as well. You never blow your own horn. Sean Hannity does that for you. But the fact is let's say that you are plugged into all these realtors and they have the same respect for you, and somebody says, yeah, I'm going to sell my Orlando home and I'm being transferred to Tampa. Yeah, I'll pick up the phone and call my buddy down there.
Mm-hmm. And we do a lot of that right now. Andrew refers a lot of business to me, and I try and reciprocate as much as possible to his team.
All right, we're going to take a break. News, traffic, and weather. Veteran newsman Dave Wall is in there chomping at the bit. He's got news for you. Here it comes. Every time we play that, I expect Andre to look over at me and yell in the microphone, Adrian! I don't know. Here he is, Andrey Bustamante. This is the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show, brought to you by GuaranteedSale.com. Free home evaluations in under 30 seconds. Call 888-785-0440, AndreyBustamante.com. And again, with that GuaranteedSale.com, you're getting the close-up, local, real picture of what's going on, unlike the national websites, which, as you saw their television commercials this week, now you know how they make their money. It is all about lining up the properties so you will go on that website, and then they plug you into a realtor, and they get paid on both ends.
Absolutely.
So they're not just doing that out of the goodness of their own hearts, folks, if you wondered why that site was up there.
Not at all.
But how accurate is it? I mean, there's properties on there that have already sold, properties on there that don't represent the school district. You got to go with the local guys, the guys that know where that traffic is going, where the shopping centers are being built, what schools are happening, what schools are being closed, and what is going on in that part of town.
That's why these websites are always going to need, the local agents. Yeah, they're doing big things, and we in a way we have to ride the wave, and we have to adapt to the new market conditions and the technology. But you still need the local guy on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of the subdivision guy. Like, I don't need to live next door to you in order to sell your home. So,
Oh, yeah.
but at least I should, be in Central Florida somewhere where I'm within, an hour to an hour and a half driving distance to you, or have a team that can do so.
And another thing that came to mind this week was I was thinking of you not only as selling somebody's home for them, but as the buyer's agent when they turn around and need a new home. And let's say that they want to go out there and they're really attracted to one of these communities here in Central Florida, like right here in Orlando. They've got some beautiful communities coming out of the ground.
Yep.
National companies, but don't forget, folks, the guy that's in that garage converted to an office in the model home is there representing the building company. He's there to represent the builder, not you. So you contact Andre and you say, Andre, pick me up. Let's go over to this place. I want to buy a home in whatever creek. And you go there and you go in that little garage and you sit down with the people and you say, okay, this is my buyer's agent. Now let's negotiate. And I don't want free crown molding. Let's do this right.
It's just as if you were going to a court trial and you're bringing your attorney rather than just taking the one that they give you. It's the exact same thing, because if you go there, that person is going to try to sell you that property. It's like if you go to the Nissan, the car guy there is not going to tell you, yeah, go right down the street to the Toyota. Not going to do that whatsoever. Instead, when you have a buyer's agent and you have someone that's fully working on your side, on your team, we're going to make sure you get the absolute best deal. I had a case like that actually this week, matter of fact, where a friend of mine from, like 10 years ago sent me a message on Facebook. She said, hey, Andre, I'm looking to buy something. Can you help me out? Absolutely. Come down to the office. Let's get together. Let's get you pre-approved. And let me show you the way the process works. Perfect. Mm-hmm. Got them pre-approved. And now they're out there looking at properties. It's easy. Rather than go to the builder without a pre-approval, and then they start telling you about all their approved lenders, if you want the closing cost contributions, and then you end up being surprised. And if you don't have your pre-approval letter, you can't really negotiate on something without that. So why even bother looking? So let's start with a pre-approval. Meet your agent in the office and go from there. We have a full staff team that we can certainly help you. Anything, whether it be buying or selling. I am more on the selling side. That's what I am very, very passionate about. But at the same time, we love helping our buyers save money. And one of the things we always tell our buyers is, if we can't save you money, at least $10,000 on the purchase of your home, we will credit you part of our commission, at least $1,000.
Wow.
So really quick here, article that came out on Florida Realtors, I want to mention it in regards to technology, and emerging technologies offer a marketing edge. And scanning it really quick, it talked about some of the things that we're currently doing right now and we have done for a long time. So whenever we meet with home sellers, it's rather interesting, because a lot of times if they've moved out of the home, you end up having all these open spaces, and the home pretty much loses all of its life when the family leaves. But what this article is talking about is the benefits of doing virtual staging, which is something that we started doing maybe 3, 4, 5 years ago. And the times that we've done it, it's been incredible. We've had huge success stories where sellers came to us, they couldn't get the home sold with the previous agent, and we explained to them it's all about location, condition, marketing, and price. So in regards to condition, let's see how we can improve that without breaking the bank. So there's two ways to go about it. One, you go ahead and you hire a stager. Well, if a property is entirely vacant, it's going to cost quite a bit of money, that you'll still get a return on your investment, but you're going to be out at least $3,000 to $5,000. Or we do virtual staging, where it costs a couple $100s. So we ended up doing that, and it was fantastic. So virtual staging, it's definitely a cutting edge technology. If your agent has not recommended this, bring it up to them.
And what is it exactly?
Basically, it's where they Photoshop furniture into. It's kind of like watching HGTV, where you see the Property Brothers, and they tear down this house. Not tear down, but like they take all the stuff away from it, and then virtually, the Photoshop, they're putting the furniture here, and they're putting the new cabinets, and they're putting the countertop. That's pretty much what virtual staging is. The level that we've done it is where we'll come in and take the picture of the home, and it's a complete open area, no furniture or anything, and we'll put picture frames, we'll put nice tables, we'll put the furniture, and what it does, it makes the room look bigger. Since 96% of buyers begin their search online, someone is clicking through the pictures and they're saying, oh my God, honey, look at this awesome space. because you're giving them a way for them to visualize their furniture there, not just seeing an open space. The other thing is drones. The use of drones is another high-tech tool that's being embraced by realtors. Now, this is something that we've used rather frequently over the past. And if you check out our Facebook fan page, just go to facebook.com, Andrey Bustamante Team, or The Andrey Bustamante Show. You can actually check out a recent segment, maybe a week ago, and we've talked about it a couple of times, but now we actually got the video. So anybody that missed the segment, feel free to go to Facebook, and you'll be able to check out how we're using drones to sell lifestyle and how we're using luxury videos and actors and walkthroughs. About 2-3 years ago, we were not really using video, and I'm one to admit that. We were using really beautiful professional photography, but we started catching on to the trend, and we started using video with actors. On our lower end properties, we just do a really nice video walkthrough of the home, and it's stunning. But check that out. It's unbelievable.
This whole drone technology is amazing. When you see one of the videos that Andrey was showing me a few weeks ago, you actually see a oceanfront home, but you see it from a view like you are out over the ocean coming into this house and flying right to the balcony on the second floor overlooking the swimming pool. I mean, what a beautiful, beautiful way to present a house.
Especially if it's to the international crowd. If it's someone that's sitting overseas in Brazil, Venezuela, England, wherever they are at, a lot of times they can't physically come here and take a look at the home. So what we try to do is get them emotionally attached, emotionally involved in the process way before they can come over here. And a lot of them are actually writing offers, sight unseen, full price, if not higher offers, because we're showing the lifestyle, we're selling lifestyle. It's the biggest conversation that we're having right now with the majority of our sellers.
I know a lot of our listeners probably say, you mean somebody would actually from another country would buy a home sight unseen? Well, I tell you what, I know people who have done it. I know a lot of people from Eastern Europe, and that is not irregular for them. I mean, they see a home, they see the video of it, or they see a presentation. Even before the video came along, there were homes being sold in Florida to folks in Europe and in England who the first time they saw the house was when they arrived here. And a little quick incident, I was dropping off my mom at the Orlando airport 2 years ago, and when I got there, somebody in the airport recognized me from one of my other positions in Florida, which we won't talk about here, but that person said, "Oh, are you familiar with this area?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "Well, rather than us taking a cab or a rent-a-car, can you just give us a lift up there?" I thought that was kind of weird, but I said, "Yeah, I'd be more than happy to. Hospitality's a key." And I drove them up there, and I said, "We're going to your house, and have you, where is it?" And they said, "Well, we've never seen it, but here's the address."
Yeah.
And they were from England. Hospitality. You're going to meet some nice people that way, but they do it, don't they?
The Brits do that a lot. I mean, especially in the vacation home market when they're buying brand new homes. What we do on the resale market, and we do sell new homes as well, but what we do on the resale market is we make our resale properties look like new homes. And we came up with the certified pre-owned program where buying a resale home is the same exact thing as basically buying a new home. And you know who was a trend starter back in the day of selling properties through video? We mention her name all the time, Barbara Corcoran.
There you go. And we've got a lot to say about Barbara in the upcoming weeks. It's going to be exciting.
Yep.
And yes, people do ask me for rides home from the airport, and yeah, I'm just that kind of guy. I trust everybody. Well, maybe not Tim, the producer, but he's getting there with me.
So if you need a ride from the airport, we're going to go ahead and give out
Rob's
cell phone.
I'm not Uber.
We're going to give out Rob's cell phone when we come back.
All right, everybody. We will be back with more with Andrey Bustamante. Hey, you got a question for Andrey? Give us a call, man. Nobody's called. 855-297-9696. Text us on your smartphone message device at 21232. 21232. We'll be back. We're asking the experts all weekend long on News 96.5. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Andrey was just showing me some news coverage about drone realty. There you go. That was on what, Fox 35?
Yep.
I think we can say that. All right, it's if we can't, we're in trouble. All right, 5 minutes before news, traffic, and weather. Veronica, thank you for welcome to the program. Thank you for calling. And what's your question for Andrey Bustamante?
Well, we've had a luxury home in Lake Butler area for sale for about a year and a half, and it's not moving. I was wondering if Andrey works with other realtors.
I do. I actually came up with a program called We Love Realtors. I'm in the process of setting up the entire website and doing everything formally, but we do work with other agents in a couple of different capacities. Either one, you could refer the client over to us, or two, we could basically work it together. So we come in, we sit down, we figure out why the property hasn't sold. So rather than letting the property expire with the agent or doing the same thing, we sit down and we come together. We essentially join forces and we come in and we get the property sold. We just bring a different approach. And of course, the seller has to be in agreement and they have to be willing to do things a little differently. But are you the agent?
Oh, no, not at all. My mother's house is for sale, and I'm just advocating for her right now. I thought while I was listening to the show, boy, it sure would be great if there was two realtors out there trying to sell it.
Yeah, we could, and this is something that's really, really used when it comes to selling higher price point properties in Miami, in LA, in New York, where you have two companies basically join forces, team up, if you will, to sell a property. And this is something that we could do. So if she's under contract with another agent, not a problem. Tell her to speak to her agent and tell her that she wants to use us, not cancel the listing or anything, but bring us on board and help sell it. And we'd love to help. Of course, we can't make that first call. She'd have your family member would have to make that first call.
Fantastic. Thank you for the information. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for calling.
Okay, we didn't, 0077, we didn't get your entire follow-up. We only got down to where it says $8,000 per month, so that's where it ends, but I think we get the gist of it. It says, I'm interested in real estate. A customer of mine asked me to work for him, and he's a broker in Daytona. I currently make around $8,000 a month. I bet her question is, or his question, can she make more, or can she make even that in real estate at $8,000 a month?
Yeah, I mean, your average agent is making $30,000 a year. It just depends. Do you consider yourself average, or do you consider yourself to be the cream of the crop? If you're a competitor and you've always risen to the top, there's no reason in real estate why you can't make six figures. I know people that make seven figures. So you could certainly make more than that. Of course, we'll have to have a conversation and figure out what it is that your goals are. Feel free to reach out to me, 888-785-0440. We also have a neat little website. It's called realestatecareersorlando.com. Or just reach out to me through my normal site, AndreyBustamante.com. See if I can give you any advice. I give career advice all the time. It's crazy. We got about a minute left. So I got a question this week, and it was awesome, and I wanted to answer it here on the show. What is the difference between an independent brokerage and a big box broker, like the Remaxes and the Keller Williams? I had a luxury seller ask me that, and he was just concerned. He said, Andre, but you're independent. And, do I have a competitive advantage if I go with a Remax or a Keller Williams or Sterling Sotheby's? And now those are all great companies. But ultimately, folks, at the end of the day, you're hiring your agent. And your agent's capacity to market your property, to negotiate your property, to get it out there, and you're tapping into your agent's network, not necessarily the network of the Remax or the Keller Williams or the Sterling. So anyone out there that's considering hiring an agent, never put the fact that one is independent and one is a big box broker, because ultimately that does not matter. You're hiring the agent, and this is coming from someone that used to work for Remax.
All right, very good. Now, we are going to continue to answer your questions next week, but during the week, why not call Andre and get the ball rolling to either buy or sell a house? And if you're like the previous caller who could not get the house moved, or mom's house just wasn't moving, contact Andre. By golly, you contact him at 888-785-0440, 888-785-0440, Andre with a Y, Bustamante.com, AndreBustamante.com. We'll see you next week on the Andrey Bustamante Real Estate Show.